Good morning. We are interrupting your regularly scheduled program with breaking news. Now, less than 2 hours ago, Mark Sievers learned his fate. Now, you may remember this story. This is the Dr. Teresa Sievers case, and we are right now staying on top of a presser from the state attorney. So let's go ahead and listen in right now.
County Sheriff's Office. Marking today is the end of one of the most prolific murder cases in Southwest Florida history, the murder of Dr. Teresa Sievers. Her murder in June of 2015 in Bonita Springs sparked an investigation by the Lee County Sheriff's Office that led across the United States. The story of her life and her untimely death touched the hearts of people not only in our community, but around the whole world. Here today with us is the family of Dr. Teresa Sievers, her mother, her brother, family friends, who can never get back what they lost. I tremendously admire the strength of this family. Each day of these two trials, they sat in court every day watching these trials for an 8-week period of time, culminating in today, showing their determination that justice be done. Today, defendant Mark Sievers was sentenced to death for the murder of his wife, Teresa. He will pay the ultimate penalty for his crime. Co-defendant Jimmy Ray Rogers has already been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of release in December for his role in the murder, following being found guilty at trial. Co-defendant Curtis Wayne Wright is scheduled to be sentenced to prison in February. I want to extend my deepest appreciation to the prosecutors of these cases who worked so incredibly hard. Assistant State Attorneys Cynthia Ross and Hamid Hunter, thank you for your incredible hard work. They've spent the last 4 years devoting themselves to these cases. We will always remember the victim in this case, Dr. Teresa Sievers, whose beautiful pictures you see up here today. We'll always remember her as the victim of these horrific, senseless, and brutal crime. And we will focus no more attention on the 3 responsible for this horrendous crime now that justice has been rendered. This heinous crime led to a massive investigation by the Lee County Sheriff's Office, led by former Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott, and now, of course, our Sheriff of Lee County, Carmine Marcino, and his team. His detective on this case is here with us today. And his team, who did an absolutely marvelous job launching a multi-layered investigation and approach to finding the killer and killers responsible for the death of this mother in her prime. Sheriff Marcino will now explain the impact this case has had on his agency and on the community.
Thank you, State Attorney Mary Fox. First, I want to thank the jurors who worked tirelessly on this case as well. Our State Attorney Amira Fox and her team, who together have worked cohesively with our team to successfully investigate and prosecute for this horrific crime. Our forensic team did an amazing job recovering deleted data from a GPS device used by the killers, tracking them from Missouri to Bonita Springs, placing them at the scene of the crime. I couldn't be more proud of our deputies and detectives who devoted thousands of hours and worked around the clock, canvassing the I-75 corridor from Bonita Springs to Missouri, locating video evidence, physical evidence, and witnesses. My thoughts and prayers are with the family, especially the 2 children who lost both their parents. Mark Sievers is a cold-blooded killer and deserves the death penalty he received today.
So many law enforcement agencies were involved in this case and were a tremendous help to us in the prosecution of this case. The U.S. Marshals, the FBI, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and law enforcement in Missouri, who were immensely cooperative and helpful to us. This has become one of the biggest cases ever seen in this part of Florida due to the magnitude of the evidence collected, which, by the way, involves more than 90,000 documents alone. It's been a detailed journey here to today's resolution. I, as state attorney, am hopeful that Teresa's family can find some solace with now the legal conclusion of this case, at least, behind them. And at this point, I'd like Teresa's wonderful family to come forward. We have with us here today Pat Tottenham, who's the brother of Teresa, and Mary Graves, the mother of Teresa. If you wouldn't mind coming forward. The family will not be taking any questions. We'll leave that for afterward for our ASAs, but they'd like to say a few words.
As you can imagine, this has been an incredible nightmare from the beginning. As my mom said in her statement, what started out as a great family weekend just turned into a disaster. It's been a long 4.5 years. The verdict was what we knew it would be. We've known it for several years. I just want to thank, they've already been thanked, but I want it to come from our family, the Lee County Sheriff's Department, Detective Dowds and Levitt, these amazing district attorneys. The case that they put together with the help of the Sheriff's Department and all the forensics, it just blows my mind of the job that they did. I want to thank the jurors on both trials for their diligence and the attention that they paid to all the details and using common sense and knowing what was right and what was not. Today was not...
It was not an easy day.
It was not an easy day. It was not. We have empathy for the defendant's family. They are suffering a loss as well. They are not to blame. It's the end of a nightmare. Our focus now
is to go on to take care
of the girls and give them the love and support that they need. We've given them a good home. They are thriving. They're remarkable girls, so smart, it's scary. But I think we're done, and we're glad that it's over. It's bittersweet.
Yes.
But justice has been served. And as a friend of ours told us, Teresa took down 3 guys that took her from us. She's been with us the whole time. And she'll be with us always. Thank you.
I just want to say that I always knew Teresa was going to reach the masses and helping people. I just didn't know it was going to be this way, but I know she's still helping people from above. She was my modern-day Mother Teresa. I always called her that because she always was trying to help people. She put everybody before herself. She gave more of herself, besides her family, to helping people, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And she will continue to do it from above. I know it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for those lovely words and for the strength that you've shown and the perseverance throughout this process. The family, as I said, will not take any questions. However, Assistant State Attorney Cynthia Ross and Hamid Hunter, who handled this case for the last 4 years, are going to approach the podium and will be able to take any questions that you have.
A little little bit of a difficult day for everyone. We did hear, though, in court today that the wishes of the two daughters were not to have their father sentenced to death. How did you weigh that in the seeking of the death penalty and the decision today to follow through with that?
Do you want to address that one first, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
I think in making an initial determination on whether to seek the death penalty, we looked at the gravity of the crime as a state's attorney's office, because we as individual assistant state attorneys don't make that decision. There is a committee within this office that reviews all cases to make a determination of whether or not it would be an appropriate case to seek and request the death penalty. Because it's not requested in every case that is eligible for it potentially, but only in the most grievous. And as a committee and as an office, we decided this was the nature and type of a crime that required that we seek the death penalty. Having traveled on that road and having gone through and heard the trial and the evidence.
If you're just joining us, we are live from a news conference held by the state attorney. This is in regards to Mark Sievers, where just less than 2 hours ago, he learned his fate as he was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of his wife, Dr. Teresa Sievers, a well-known and well-respected doctor here in Southwest Florida, based out of Bonita Springs.
And so we just heard from multiple people, not just the state attorney Amira Fox there, but we also heard from Sheriff Carmine Marcino with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, and also we're hearing from prosecutors at the moment. But just before they took the podium, we were hearing from Teresa's family, from her brother and mother, and I think that was some really impactful things that they had to say, Shari. And I think the one thing almost every single person who touched on when they did speak today at this news conference was progress. They plan to move forward from here and leave Mark Sievers and the people involved in this death, and also the death sentence behind, and focus on their daughters,
right.
Dr. Teresa Sievers' two daughters.
Right. They specifically said that the focus is on the girls moving forward. And so we want to remember that too. I believe that it was Amira Fox also who said that the focus is not on Jimmy Ray Rogers or Curtis Wayne Wright or Mark Sievers. The focus is on the legacy of Dr. Teresa Sievers and her daughters as well.
And her mom spoke, and she said her story, it touched more people throughout not just Southwest Florida, but also the United States and also the world. And I think she's right. There really isn't a person in Southwest Florida who doesn't know her name. And it broke my heart to hear her say, I always knew my daughter, she said, would reach the masses. I just didn't know it was going to be like this. So we heard an impact statement from the daughters in the sentencing earlier today. We just heard from the family, and I think that took a lot of courage to come out and speak out today.
She called her a modern-day Mother Teresa. And
absolutely.
I think that really summarizes how many people in our area and beyond feel about Dr. Teresa Sievers. And I do want to mention Sheriff Carmine Marcino also spoke, as Lauren said, and he thanked the jurors, the deputies, and the detectives, and made a very important point, which was that so many agencies work together in tracking from Missouri all the way down to Bonita Springs. So this was a multi-agency effort, and we heard from Marcino as well as the state attorney just thanking those involved.
And we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, there, but we do want to let everyone know at home, if you are interested to hear what the prosecutors are saying right now, we do have a live stream up on the Fox 4 Facebook page. We also have posts up on Twitter, and we'll of course have more coverage tonight on Fox 4 starting at 5 p.m.
We'll see you then.